This day, a decade ago, Halloween in New Jersey was effectively canceled. Trick-or-treating and other Halloween night celebrations were postponed by executive order due to dangerous conditions in the aftermath of Superstorm Sandy. Today, the nightmare of that massive cleanup and the risk of severe flooding still exists for many homeowners who continue to run up against hurdles in the federal flood insurance program and worry that recent changes to the risk models could leave them more vulnerable than life before Sandy. Ted Goldberg reports.
I waded out in the middle of the storm at 11 o'clock at night through thigh-deep water with houses burning down and electrical components exploding in the pitch black. And that was the easy part.
Doug Quinn barely survived Superstorm Sandy. His Toms River home, not as fortunate. It was destroyed by 4 feet of flooding.
I wasn't concerned because I believe in insurance. I'm a financial advisor. I've recommended millions of dollars, if not tens of millions of dollars of coverage to my clients over my 30-year career.
Quinn had $250,000 in insurance, but he was initially paid out less than 40 cents on the dollar.
The damage to my foundation, which was the bulk of the reason why the house had to be torn down, was already there. It was the what's called the earth movement, the shifting of the supporting soils.
It took 7 years for Quinn to be paid in full and finally rebuild his home, but only after catching a break when another family sued their insurance company after learning they were being defrauded.
They ordered a reinspection, and coincidentally, they sent out the same engineer. And the people confronted that engineer and said, you cheated us. You were here and said this is storm damage. And now we got this report from our insurance company saying, you said it isn't. And he looked at it and he said, that is not the report I wrote.
The investigation that followed produced proof that Quinn's insurance company knowingly withheld money that should have been paid out. Cases like Quinn's have shaken people's faith in the National Flood Insurance Program, or NFIP. Property owners need it if they live in a high-risk flood area with a government-backed mortgage. It's undergone several changes in the last 10 years since Sandy. Namely, it has a new pricing model called Risk Rating 2.0.
It assesses the risk based on the individual rather than, say, a larger area. In theory, that sounds good, but as a consequence, we think that the prices are going up for a lot of people.
It's pulling on better data, new modeling techniques, and really trying to bring the flood insurance program in line with sort of state-of-the-art private sector pricing models.
FEMA says the new ratings mean homeowners will now pay their fair share of the risk, since they're based on a property's unique flood risk as well as the cost it'll take to rebuild. But Risk Rating 2.0 has its detractors. Author Carolyn Kuski says it's short-sighted, and Congressman Frank Pallone says it's too expensive.
If those people leave the program, then who's going to be left in the program? Only people that are wealthy?
Your insurance price is not a good signal on how risk might be changing over time.
Senator Bob Menendez has sponsored a bill that would overhaul the NFIP. Congressman Pallone isn't optimistic that Congress can agree on a fix.
If you're in a coastal area, Republican or Democrat, you support it. If you're in, Wyoming, you might not. And so there's that too. There's the fact that people who are not along the coast say, well, why do we just forget about all this?
And there are plenty of people in New Jersey who will never forget the devastation from Sandy, nor the pain and anguish they suffered for years after at the hands of bad faith insurance companies. For NJ Spotlight News, I'm Ted Goldberg.